Hello again, it's Christy with the Laugh or Cry podcast. And man, it just seems like every day I pull up TMZ or any kind of news and there's just so much more stuff about P Diddy. Let me just start by saying, I never did like him. Just something about his face, I never liked him. The best thing I like about him is when he was in Get Him to the Greek and he got hit by a car. I thought that was hilarious. 50 Cent, I like him. Don't know hardly any of his music, but I look at him, I'm like, I don't like his name, but he seems alright. And of course, Ice Cube, liked him from the very first moment I saw him. Scared me a little bit, but liked him. Jay-Z, who's evidently real thick with P. Diddy, I never liked him. I always thought there was something weird about him and Beyonce being together. I can't be the only one that's thinking this. Because, and again, everyone loves Beyonce. Oh, she's so great. I don't care. I don't listen to her music. It doesn't matter to me. Everyone's going on about her having this country record. I don't care. If anything, it's just bringing more attention to country music, so hopefully people will see how awful country music itself is. Sorry if you like country music, I said what I said. But Beyonce, I always suspect about her when she first left her group and went out on her own. I was like, I bet she would stab any of those girls in the back if she had the chance. And now, I'm hearing, I don't know the artist's name, but there was some chick artist that was signed to Beyonce's label. And Beyonce, she was mad because she only sold like 10,000 units or something like that. And was mad because when the album was released, she said Beyonce didn't even put a tweet out or nothing, did nothing to promote it. And I'm like, something I just don't trust about her. And Jay-Z, I mean, let's be honest. He is not an attractive man. Neither is Sean Combs. I don't think either of them are pretty. But specifically, Jay-Z, not an attractive man. How in the hell did he get Beyonce and her stay? And then he cheats on her and she stays. I mean, I can't imagine his bank account's bigger than hers. She's freaking amazingly famous. And then Stevie J, I don't know who the hell that is, calls 50 Cent an Uncle Tom for attacking Diddy. I'm like, well, Sean kind of had this shit coming to him. And my favorite thing, well, so many favorite things about all of this. But the first thing is Diddy calls all these allegations against him and the raids a witch hunt. Now, pretty much any time you hear somebody use the word witch hunt, they did whatever they're accused of. Trump throwing the word witch hunt around constantly, and he's done everything that he's accused of. And then this, Diddy, it's a witch hunt. Dude, you've done all this, and and I'm just so excited to see what the evidence is, because, oh my God, evidently Cassie is talking to the feds, because she's the first one that put the civil case out against, and he settled like the next day. Well, she's evidently talking to the feds, and I guess the information she gave was leading to the probable cause of the raids. Boom. And then he's crying about, they tore up my house. Dude, anytime a raid has happened, I've seen those pictures, you got off easy. They searched my car once and they tore it the fuck apart. So you got off all right. I could still see all your shoes were mated together, so you're all right. And now they're like, looking at everybody like, oh, Cuba Gooding Jr. was hanging with him, and Ashton Kutcher was like real tight BFFs with P Diddy. But you haven't seen Ashton say dick about it, or any of them. Any of the ones that are supposedly really tight with Sean Combs, nobody is dropping up saying, oh, well, I was there and none of that happened. I've not heard one person say that. and they're all kind of distancing themselves. Even Jay-Z, which I'm thinking Jay-Z might be the next one that they drop a dime on. Anyway, so you've got him, then Ashton Kutcher is like distancing himself. I'm sure, Mila's like, don't you say crap. We got fucked over with the Danny Masterson stuff. Don't you say shit. You keep your mouth shut. And that was the thing when the Danny Masterson, I get where they're coming from. You work with somebody for that long and you think you know him and you think there's no way this guy could do that until proven that they did. So they, foot and mouth disease there. And I was curious about this. So I thought what is Danny Masterson doing right now? Evidently 30 to life. He is not eligible for parole until 2042. So almost 20 years from now, he's even eligible for parole. And Bijou Phillips, his wife, stood by him through the entire case, was certain he was going to be found innocent and released. Little does she realize, oh man, she didn't think that sentence was going to come down, and she sure didn't think they were going to tote him away. But they did. So he was found guilty of raping 2 women on May 31st of last year, 2023. Sentenced 30 years in prison. So multiple charges. Those are the 2 that stick. The third was a hung jury. Now Bijou stayed with him, but then filed for divorce September 18th, 2023. So just a few months after he sentenced, which I don't blame her. I would be like, well, you're not going to get out for 20 years? See ya, I'm going to go live my life. I can't blame her. I guess she brought the daughter to visit him in jail like a few days after his birthday. So before the divorce news, Danny and Bijou were Scientologists. Now, things are coming to light, aren't they? It seems like any time you're a Scientologist, you feel like you are above the law. And I guess this guy, Scientologists were not behind him. So, evidently they found, I forget the word that they called it, but they found him unsettled or something like that. So she bounced from Scientology, which, good for her. Now, if you don't know who Bijou is, if you've seen the movie Almost Famous, you've seen her. If you've seen the TV show Raising Hope, she was in that as like the serial killer, oddly enough, about jail. Her father, John Phillips from the Mamas and Papas. Her mom is like actress, singer, model Genevieve Waite, which I don't really know anything about her, but she was evidently in the movie Joanna. I don't know. But both parents dead. So Bijou has half siblings. Mackenzie Phillips, from One Day at a Time. China Phillips, from Wilson Phillips. And Jeffrey Phillips, I don't know what he does. And keep in mind, John Phillips, I still cannot get the image out of my head that he was a creeper. Not only a pedophile, an incestual pedophile. If what Mackenzie Phillips says is true, which I can't imagine, unless you are really fucked up in the head, coming out claiming that your father had a sexual relationship with you from your teen years on to adulthood. Who wants that kind of scrutiny out there? So I hope she's telling the truth. I think she probably is, let's be honest. And so her John Phillips, her dad, which Bijou's like, that's not true. And I'm like, it probably is true. But anyway, so she's a musician. She put out a debut studio album called I'd Rather Eat Glass in 1999. I don't think any of us have heard of it either. But I loved Raising Hope. Like the guys that made My Name is Earl did that, and I thought it was hilarious. Loved it. She was modeling for Calvin Klein for a while. So, she ain't hurting for money. Get this. She's been accused of abuse. So I guess she assaulted Daniel Franzese, I guess, of Mean Girls. They were on the set of Bully, and November 2017. And Daniel claims that she body shamed him and ridiculed him for being gay, and that physically assaulted him by twisting his nipples, come on, that's funny, and kicked him in the back of the head. I'd like to know how that came down. But first, I think men need to know what it feels like to be assaulted, because women have been feeling it for millennia. So I'm not that upset by them. Oh, poor guy. Blah, 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 blah. But again, whatever. Now she says, I was a teenager and reckless in my behavior. I know Daniel to be a trustworthy and honest person, and to find out through social media that I was not the friend I thought I was to him made me so sad. You don't remember kicking him in the head? Anyway, she goes on to say, I am so mortified by this behavior and have contacted Daniel and apologized to him privately. I am not and never have been homophobic. I have nothing but love for the LGBTQ community and Daniel. And evidently Daniel accepted her apology on Twitter, and he forgives her because, he says, because I know her private story. I don't know her private story either. So anyway. So in November 2017, also, same time, Heather Matarazzo, who was in Princess Diaries, told Daniel on a podcast that she was also allegedly physically attacked by Bijou when they were filming Hostel Part 2. Okay, Heather says that Bijou threw her against the wall and then choked her for almost like 20 seconds. And she referred to the incident as the most horrifying moments in her life. Wow. Now, she does seem a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. She's cute, adorable, good little actress, but she does come across as she might be crazy. I don't know that for a fact, but I've never held anyone against a wall and choked them for 20 seconds that, wasn't sexual. Alright, so Bijou and Danny from that 70s show started dating in 2004. So I guess this is the year after the alleged rapes. So while dating, they starred in 2 movies together, Made for Each Other and The Bridge to Nowhere. Yeah, I never heard of either. They shared the screen on an episode of Raising Hope. Oh, I don't remember him on it, but that's okay. So they got engaged in 2011 after dating for 7 years. I guess he didn't bring up, oh, by the way, I raped somebody. But again, I'm sure in his mind he didn't. So they got married in a private castle in Ireland. They said I do in front of family and friends. They had a daughter in 2014 named Fianna, if this is spelling right, Fianna. And they seem to be like doing great, awesome, what have you. She declares her love for him. She defended him all through the accusations by the 3 different women, but found guilty. And stood by, said what a great father he was, and all this. But I guess not enough for her to not file for divorce. So, lawyer says Miss Phillips has decided to file for divorce from her husband during this unfortunate time. Her priority remains with her daughter. Yeah, I get that. I don't blame you. And again, 20 years before he's able to get out. I don't think long-distance relationships work at all, but definitely not when they're in jail. No, not going to do that many conjugal visits, even if that's a thing. So, January 2024, there was a report saying that Danny's legal case and his own reported expulsion from the Church of Scientology, Bijou stepped away from the religion. She left a few weeks after she found out that Danny had been declared a SP, a suppressive person, for not living up to the standards of the church. Man, you're not in a church, it's a cult. It's a cult. If you have to give exorbitant amounts of money, give up your whatever, yeah, you're in a cult. Sorry. Yeah, it may help you with your career, but you're in a cult. Okay, so, quote, whatever the source is, says, it's not an easy decision to leave Scientology because you face being ripped apart from your family and friends who are still members. In Bijou's case, she had nothing to lose and wasn't about to cut ties with Danny per Scientology's disconnection rules. Bijou would never do that to her daughter, plus her sisters, her close friends, none of them are Scientologists. So I wonder if they made Nicole Kidman a suppressive person, because it seems like Tom has totally dismissed her and the kids, which she dodged a bullet on that one, so good for you, Nicole. Anyway, so married to a rapist. It's a suppressive person for not living up to the standards of the church. So she files for divorce September of last year, citing irreconcilable differences. I think your spouse being in jail, that tracks. That makes sense. And she requested full custody of their daughter, since, what's he going to do? He's behind bars until she's going to be very much older. She says, he's an amazing father. Our daughter and I are heartbroken that he's not home with us. It's been a very difficult without him here. Even though he's now in jail, he calls her every day. He helps her with homework every night. He's a donut. Well, what else does he have to do? Come on now. Last week, when was this? This article I'm reading. This is from February 5th. So, it said, a judge denied Masterson's request for bail, claiming he was a flight risk because he has, quote, no wife to go home to. Well, how are you? Okay, maybe I just don't know. Was he not in jail then? Because how do you request bail when you have already been sentenced and taken away? So, again, I don't know. But, Scientology just sounds creepy and awful. And but then so does raping people. So, Bijou is called Masterson, her life-saving partner. She was pleading with the judge in a letter presiding over the case. We need him more than you can imagine. I know he's been convicted of serious crimes, but the man I married has only been an extraordinary husband to me and a devoted father to our daughter. Again, how can you get bail when you're already in jail and you've been... But anyway, oh no. So they're thinking about... Hollywood is going to do a biopic, going back to P Diddy. So they're already talking about a biopic. So I wonder if they're going to do one on him. In other news, so Kiss sells their catalog and their likeness for $300 million to ABBA Hologram Company. Oh wow, that's crazy. So this was today. This is dated today. So they sold their entire music catalog, not to mention their entire image, to a company that puts on hologram shows for legendary music acts. And wow, $300 million. So the company's called Pop House Entertainment. They're selling off their music and their likeness. I'd heard about Paul McCartney selling a lot of his stuff for a crazy amount. 300 million sounds pretty impressive too. This is the same company they're already set to do a full digital avatar residency with. What? This is crazy times. Alright, so they've been doing hologram ABBA shows. And Kiss was already teaming up to do something with them anyway, so why not get a little extra jingle? So Kiss sold over 100 million records worldwide throughout their 50-year career. And by 50, we mean Gene and Paul. I don't know if any of the other members are going to see a dime of this. I'm curious. Maybe this article will tell us. We will go on to read more. He vowed to safeguard Kiss's legacies, the CEO of Pop House, while breathing new life into their characters. Ooh, that sounds crazy. my God, okay. Kiss's price tag is on par with other legacy acts who sold their catalogs of late, including Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen. But some catalogs have sold for higher than others, so it just depends. Wow. So, Kiss. Of course, they're saying Kiss. Is that just Gene and Paul? I mean, is Ace going to see anything? Are any of the others going to see anything? Somehow I doubt it. Somehow I think Gene and Paul own all of Kiss, but I could be wrong. Because, I mean, shit, they didn't go on tour with them for this finale, so... Anyway. And on to... what else? So, evidently, Dave Chappelle, man, people are still ragging on him. So there's this gay comedian named Jared Carmichael. I'd never heard of him either. He claims to demand a public apology over anti-trans critique. So... evidently, he didn't think a lot of Dave, claiming the guy is just full of himself, and he wants a public apology after Jared criticized his trans jokes. Okay, so this Jared guy, I guess, did an interview with Esquire, and he reflected on a spat with Dave a couple years back in the wake of DC's Netflix The Closer, which was being criticized as anti-trans. I gotta tell you, I'm a comedian. And I have a lot of trans friends. Trans people, maybe they saw it offensive. I didn't at all. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But, again, I guess I'm a comedian. It takes a lot more to shock me. During an interview, Jared, he'd tried offering Dave constructive criticism, suggesting that his legacy may be marred by his leaning into making fun of trans folk. I don't think he's making fun of them. I think they're taking certain jokes out of context. But anyway. And again, I'm like, okay, you've got Dave Chappelle's body of work. I mean, decades body of work. And this Jared Carmichael that I've never heard of. You want to give advice to what some people say is the GOAT of comedy? I think that's a little egotistical if you ask me. So, oh my God. So fast forward to today. So Jared is claiming that his words from 2022 really got under Dave's skin. I doubt that. I doubt that, Jared. You're a little too... come down from that high horse. He claims that Dave had privately demanded a public apology from Jared, apparently taking this critique as outright hate and bashing. Jared says he never gave an apology because he didn't think he was wrong. And he goes on to call Dave an egomaniac. Dude. If anyone's the egomaniac in this, it's you, Mr. Man. So he claims that Dave responded to his 2022 stand-up special where Jared came out as gay and alleges that Dave, quote, referred to it as the bravest special for 1996. Implication being that, he's coming out gay now. That's funny. That was fucking funny. I don't care who you are. So Jared says the fact Dave allegedly mocked him over that proves just how difficult it still is to be openly gay in the modern era, despite Dave allegedly trying to downplay it. This alleged comment from Dave doesn't appear to be made publicly. Oh well. And then he hasn't, Dave Chappelle hasn't given any word back. That was funny. Dude, yeah, I mean, like, dude, you're coming out in your 30s, so, trust me, I'm pretty sure everybody knows you're gay. It's not going to be a big shock. But again, I applaud you for being your genuine self. You go, girl. But again, I've watched that special. I found nothing offensive. Were there things I didn't agree with? Sure. Was I offended by any of them? Nah, I got thicker skin than that. Because they're made in jest. Nothing he said was made with a malice intent, in my opinion. He was being observational. He even goes on to praise this trans female comedian that he had open for him. I mean, oh well, that's just like saying, I can't even give you a good analogy. I mean, hold on, that must be a bill collector calling. All right, shut that down. All right, and then lastly, before this gets too long, so Rebel Wilson, I love her. This came out a couple of days ago. I love her. I think she's hilarious and gorgeous. She's gorgeous too. That goes hand, which that makes me hate her a little bit. Stupid, pretty people. But she says my agents preferred me fat. The roles paid much better. Fuck, I'm fat. I'll jump on that. If she don't want them, I'll take them. So Rebel, I guess people are thinking she's stirring the pot because she's, she lashed out a little bit at Sacha Cohen, Baron Cohen, and some others. Anyway, so she's talking about a talent agency that her team preferred when she was plus size. So she's coming out with this memoir. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I'm sure this will tell us. It's called Rebel Rising. Already sparking controversy. I mean, also, I guess something about Adele. People are trying to talk about comparing their sizes. I don't know. Now she's coming for her agents, saying they preferred her when she was heavier, as that meant banking hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission for each film where she, Rebel, played the funny fat girl. Man, I would love to play the funny fat girl. Hollywood, I won't lose a pound if you want to have me. I mean, maybe I'm not fat enough. I can work on that. I like Krispy Kreme donuts. I love fried chicken. I will promise not to eat one piece of fruit in the next year if you want to book me for anything. And that's saying a lot. I don't like fruit, but I love watermelon, and summer's coming up. Just saying. And apples. I don't mind apples. Strawberries. Gross. I'm the only person in the world that doesn't like strawberries, I'm pretty sure. That's not allergic. I'm not allergic, I just don't like the flavor. And bananas. Bananas are gross. I will eat them if I have to. I won't eat a strawberry. I'll eat a banana, but I don't like them. Anyway, so according to Rebel, she kind of was felt trapped because there's a multi-million-dollar pigeonhole, quote, over her body size. Now, she claimed on the Call Her Daddy podcast that she's contractually obligated not to lose weight while filming the Pitch Perfect franchise. Interesting. I did not know that. So she still appreciates her work in the musical comedy trilogy, which kind of cemented her as a comedic legend. I don't know. I mean, I guess I've seen one of them. I haven't seen any of the others. It's funny. She's hilarious in Bridesmaids. I love that. I guess some people call that her breakout role. That might be the first time I ever saw her. I think she's hilarious. And I've watched her in interviews, like some of the ones over in England. She's a riot. I love her. I love her skinny. I love her fat. Doesn't matter. She's hilarious. So, in Bridesmaids, it says that she was paid less than $4,000 for her appearance in the movie. It was actually Pitch Perfect that allowed her to score her first 8-figure deal. Let me rub my eyes. 8-figure deal? Damn. Yeah, I will be fat. I'll be fat for that all day long. So in Rebel Rising, her book that's going to be coming out, looks cute. She details negotiating the big payout for Pitch Perfect 3, which I know somebody that was in that. Hannah Fairlight, she's married to a friend of mine. Singer. Check her out. So she played a cappella singer Fat Amy. Well, I mean, if your name's Fat Amy, you kind of have to be fat. Anyway, that's fine. Was it written before that? I have no idea. So on her decision to write about the massive paycheck in her memoir, she told New York Times, she says, that's a big milestone when you're an actor. To receive an 8-figure offer for a woman is huge. I agree. She says, sometimes women don't like to talk about that, whereas I don't think the guys have any issue saying that they get $20 million a movie. Wow. I really need to get prettier and get fatter. Okay. So talking about Adele. So she says that Adele definitely hates me, cites past size comparisons. Okay, I don't know. Let's read this. She claims that Adele hates her guts, and all it has to do with the size comparisons people used to make about them. So, in the book, she reveals that the Grammy winner likely isn't her biggest fan, as they used to be juxtaposed to each other for years for being bigger ladies. She admits that she never confronted Adele directly about the alleged hate. Then what do you even know? She says, as if my fatness might rub off on her if I were near her for more than 30 seconds. Oh man, now you're sounding kind of crazy. I don't know though. So both of them gone through some impressive weight loss in the past few years. And Adele isn't the only celeb to name drop Rebel's forthcoming memoir. Again, she called out Sacha Baron Cohen in one controversial chapter, calling him an asshole. And you know what? He probably is an asshole. I'm not going to lie. He kind of comes across like he'd be an asshole, but I like assholes sometimes. And she's pretty now that she's lost weight, of course. But I almost think she was prettier bigger. I know that's not going to be a very liked comment, but here's the thing. She stuck out. Right now, losing weight, then she's just another blonde, skinny actress. Where here, she's a beautiful, blonde, bigger girl. I'm sure she'll have plenty of roles. She's not going to be hurting for any money, especially with those 8-figure checks she's getting. Damn. And then the book. Let's see if we can figure out when this book is coming out. I don't know. She's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. She's absolutely beautiful. But I don't know. Like, with the weight loss, she just looks... Okay. I'm going to tell you something about me. I am getting to the point in my life where all people are starting to look alike to me. All 20-year-old blonde people all look the same to me. All 30-year-old brunette men with beards all look the same to me. Can't tell them apart. And just looking at these pictures of her, like I said, she looks gorgeous. Good for her. I know that's got to be healthier for her, so good for her. But I don't know. She doesn't look as distinct. She's gorgeous. Yes. But now she could walk up to me and I don't know that I'd recognize her. So her weight then, during the Pitch Perfect 3, was 225 pounds. Well, I could get up to that. That'd be cool. Could make it harder to retrieve viable eggs. I guess she was trying to maybe think about having a baby or something. Babies are overrated. I love mine because, the law says I have to, but, whatever. Going in again about they didn't like her being fat. So the book, Rebel Rising, it's a Simon & Schuster. It was released Tuesday. So, boom, it just came out. It details her struggles with food addiction. And, why does it do this? Oh, no. It's not letting me read it. Damn you, New York Times. Well, you know what? You're not the only thing that's probably written about it. I'll find something else. Don't you worry, patient listeners. Okay, let's see if it lets me read it this time. So she dealt with food addiction, writes about, with disarming candor, about intimate episodes of her life. Okay, she was raised in Sydney, Australia, the eldest of 4. Her family ran a pet product business and bred show beagles. Interesting. So, I guess her first brush with show business was as a junior dog handler when she was 8. So she was rejected 5 times from Australia's National Institute of Dramatic Art. She auditioned for nearly 30 screen roles in Hollywood before she was cast in Bridesmaids, and that kind of launched her career. Man, 30, that seems low. I'm like, well, you got picked up pretty quick if you only had to audition 30 times. She made the movie Brother Grimsby with Sacha Baron Cohen. and again, this is the one where she writes about him being an asshole, that he made her uncomfortable by asking her to appear nude in the film instead of hiring the body double instead. She, well, it depends on how much money you're giving me. If you're going to see me naked, I would want some money. But I got tattoos, you would know if it was me or not. I don't know how it works. So she writes, being a late bloomer, she lost her virginity at 35. Oh, what? First orgasm alone at the age of 39? What? First orgasm. Okay, I gotta tell you, my first orgasm was when I was 6, and I didn't know it was sexual. I guess, brushed against it, felt good. I kept brushing against it, felt really good. So I've been masturbating since 6. I just didn't know that it was, and I loved it. Wow, 39 for your first orgasm. I gotta tell you, it is hard to have an orgasm with sex, because a lot of men don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so we're gonna follow on. Alright, so her weight loss, again, she felt it's affecting her career. Okay, losing her virginity. That's what she's most anxious about, coming out that she lost her virginity at 35. How old is she now, I wonder? I mean, she doesn't look that old. She was in a romantic relationship with a female professional tennis player. Oh my goodness. I don't know if they're telling who that person is. Wow. So she's gone down on the muff. I couldn't. You know, no offense to women that do, but I can't go on the muff. Sorry. Well, I'm going to cut this because this is getting too long. Well, thank you for listening. Now I'm going to do one about Rebel Wilson, because this is so interesting. So check for the next one. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click on like if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe on there as well. And thank you for listening to the Laugh or Cry podcast.